my idea was to invite best architects based on the award show, basically. So, not award show, it's award, just award. So it's design. It was design awards by internal designs. So one of our speakers is Michael. He represents Decent Architecture, and Decent Architecture have been a winner of Workplace Extension Award, and also has been a finalist of two other areas of the award of this award program. It was Metaverse Destination and Commercial Spaces. So for those who would like to see the space they created and they was one of the top finalists or the winner, feel free to go to YouTube. I'm right now showing the spaces. And the second speaker of this topic will be Pierre. I hope I'm saying the name right. He represented Metaxu, and Metaxu has been a winner of the immersive digital art category. So first, please introduce yourself. Let's start with Michael, and then we go to Pierre, and then I will ask you the question which I planned for today's topic. So Michael, hi.
Hello, Andrew. Thank you for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be here in front of so many people and great people and sharing the stage with everyone. So I'm the co-founder of Decent Architecture, and we started. I would say it was in middle 2021. Me and Leo started to realize, like, following the blockchain and realizing the potential of the metaverse. And with this we started to design a bit of like a few projects, a few concept ideas that we had on the drawer, things that on the physical world wouldn't go forward, but on the digital world we were free to explore new ideas, new concepts, where in the physical world we're just limited by either by the investments or either by physics or regulations. Since then, I mean, we've been 1 year and a half with decent architecture and exploring more and more ideas, and even a bit of this concept of the digital twins, which was in our mind since the beginning, which is in, to introduce architecture well taught on the metaverse, because when we joined, there wasn't such things, so people could actually appreciate what it is a well taught and well designed, at least in our idea, I would say. And with those lessons from the metaverse, bring it back to the physical world, which is a bit part of this concept of the digital twin. So it's putting data in a digital format and then trying to extrapolate to the physical world. And luckily, with the awards, I mean, it's been a great recognition from our work in terms from the architecture community. And this was really something great for me and Leo, because as we know, the metaverse, I mean, there was the phase of the hypeness where people were just throwing a lot of things in there, but most of them without big contents or use cases. And actually, I'm happy with this bearish market where actually it's where you build more consistent things around the Web3. You know, you've seen, Andre, I met you last year, and I remember you talking in the beginning about your idea of creating this podcast, this show, these classes, and everyone that has a concept that is sturdy and has the right conviction is still here. So that's really great. From after 1 year, seeing you here, just with the dream that you had, and you materialize the dream. You know, just like us with the architecture, and even seeing projects so great, just like Florian that was talking, Eric, for example, which is when you think about digital twins, you always think about kind of like the artificial world, like buildings and everything, and how you can have a digital twin of nature. This is a great show. Thank you, Andrew, for having here.
Uh, thank Michael for coming. And what I love about this show is having amazing individuals who envision something they want to build and then just go and build it. And doesn't matter if the hype is there or it's not there. And that's what I love hosting it during bar market. I didn't know how it will be during the bull market, and I'm almost 100% sure we'll still be around with Mr. Metaverse Saturday, even a year from now. That's at least the plan. So every Saturday, you basically can book in your calendar, at least for next 3 months. We already have plans. We have topics, unless we'll run out of topics and great people to cover, which I'm really not sure about. But I mean, it takes a lot of time to scout these people and scout these topics. So if you can the best way you can support us is either by just coming to these events or just sending me great people, great topics. I love to see any. I'd love to experience any. The goal of our Metaverse Ready and Mystery Metaverse Saturday is to cover the people who is not featured on the top of magazines, maybe who is not having hundreds and hundreds of millions of marketing budgets to burn to market themselves. So that basically the goal of this event and the podcast I'm hosting. And I'd like to give the word to Pierre. Pierre, please introduce yourself, and then I'll ask a question to you both. And then we'll proceed further to the final questions of today's discussion, which will be a target for the audience, for everyone.
Thank you, Andre. Yeah, thank you very much to give us this opportunity, and yeah, I think it's great to have the opportunity to talk and to talk about our passion and everything we're doing. It's not always easy to make our way in this very noisy world. Um, but yeah, so I'm mainly going to focus on. Well, first I feel a bit maybe a little bit at edge from the main topic of digital twin. I did study architecture and I worked 15 years as a 3D visualizer, producing a lot of um, digital twin in the basic sense of creating 3D models of either existing project or maybe project in the building. But yeah, I was always more curious to understand how actually people and human will interact with this world. So I was, since the beginning, I was really more looking into how we create spatial interface to interact with the digital world, more than looking at what kind of 3D model or what kind of copy of the reality we can create. And I totally understand the value of having those digital twin and the way we can simulate reality and acquire so much information and improve reality in that sense. The project on the ocean is fantastic and amazing, and I also really like the idea of gamifying. So that's definitely something I'm looking into. But so maybe I'll dive into my edge to this, which is it's fantastic to create all these 3D world. We call it maybe now immersive digital twin. I understand that if it's immersive, that means that people that are going to use them will be immersed into this world, eventually using virtual reality headset. Stop me if I'm misunderstand this,
Yeah,
but I think for me
that's the plan.
so then there we go. So then I bring maybe my focus, which is okay, how actually do people interact with those immersive digital twin? And that's what I've been really diving into. I've even done a PhD about this, looking at how space spatial design affects people performing in those virtual environments. I've started even to write a kind of a framework. Architects have developed some amazing tool to measure spatial qualities like openness, jaggedness, complexities, and we can go into this topic. It's very exciting. There is some amazing mathematical tool to understand these spatial qualities, and also you compare this to how actually people being in those space perceive those spatial qualities. But with Metaxu Studio since 2 years and a half now, we've been exploring what actually we can create in these metaverse, in those online space, in the immersive web. And so we've been running a monthly event where we were collaborating with various artists and designer and other architects. And we were running event, inviting people to join the space using mostly immersive web like Mozilla Hubs. So
I see. Uh, I think Pierre is yeah, good muted. Hello. Yeah, yeah.
my
So all right, that's right. That was basically the question of I plan to ask you both is what's your take on
yeah,
digital twins, and Pierre had basically answered the question already. That's completely right. So, Michael, what's your take on digital twins as architecture? Like how do you see the digital twins, and should architects more focus on creating like design something not related to real life, or basically, what's your take on digital twins, Michael?
I mean, the concept of digital twins, I mean, this word became hype, I would say, or formulated or slash hyped, I mean, quite recently. And it's funny because when I was like doing some research on what was digital twins, I just thought, well, we've already been doing this for a lot of years, and especially on the architecture industry. I mean, most of the projects we develop from concept, because by the way, besides, just to the audience, besides being an architect on the metaverse, I have 10 years of experience as architect in the physical world.
Let's give
And
thumbs ups to Michael for.
thank you. Now, and I just realized this. We've been doing this for so long. I mean, we can have cases of assembly lines and things like that, but also in architecture. I mean, we've been designing, like whenever you design a 3D project, I mean, in the 3D concept you present to the clients to replicate on the physical world, that's in a way a digital twin. And even nowadays, as an example, we deliver the projects with Revit, so with BIM, and you, if the client's willing actually to have this package besides the floor plans and everything, he receives like the 3D a bit more stripped, but in beam format where he can actually get some data and feed some data inside that 3D model. So it's funny that this is already being in here, but now we have like a proper word that's been hyped lately. And as I said it, when I started to do the buildings in the metaverse, thinking about, okay, how can I design, how can I introduce architecture to the metaverse, and what is the real value of doing this, was actually my mind was just overthinking a bit. Like in the future is most probably is doing projects in the metaverse, where projects that we wouldn't be able to do on the physical world, and especially as a person that doesn't own a big name practice, you can do projects there, and eventually it can showcase the greatness of well taught architecture. People can see that, and people can actually demand, after seeing an immersive experience, they can really demand that to be back to the normal life. I mean, we walk around cities, we see so many like neighborhoods. As an example, the typical USA suburbia, which is just a repetition. I mean, we all know about the great economics of having a suburbia that's a repetition, and is actually there's a lack of human touch there in terms of artistic touch. But once people would be experience like great architecture spaces on the metaverse, this could actually be in a way demanded by society to be brought back to our physical world. This was one of the thoughts, and on the same line of thought, I always use this case where, as an architect, we have one project in Saudi Arabia as an example, that is the Line City, Linear City. I don't know if everyone has seen that, but it's a project that, to everyone that is an architect, to everyone that I met that's an urbanist, it sounds ridiculous as it is. And in my mind, whenever I look at this, I can just think about the potentially of this technology that we have in our hands, and especially with AI, digital twins, is to actually, before big investments like this is being made by a government or even private entities, is to replicate, is to not replicate, sorry, is to create an ecosystem, interact with that ecosystem, both users, like human users, and both AI, extrapolate the information from those new neighborhoods, if what exactly works, what doesn't work, adapt and regenerate, instead of just spending billions of dollars, pounds, euros on projects that doesn't work for the community. So a digital twin, in my mind, it can be great not only for the lifespan of the product that you are doing, in this case that I'm talking cities or buildings, but can be also great to evaluate the impact before that's even built, and if it's worth it to invest that much money and effort on something just like the linear city on Saudi Arabia. That is just a stunt marketing campaign, but there's no value there.